The Bundoran Weekly is brought to you by AIB, supporting local businesses in Bundoran. For more, see aib.ie.
Hi everyone, it's Shane Smyth, Bundoran Tourism Officer. It is Friday the 23rd of December 2022 and I'm here with you for the final regular Bundoran Weekly podcast of 2022. Podcast that talks about everything Bundoran. We will have another episode of the podcast next week. We'll talk to you more about that a little bit later on. A little bit later on as well, we're going to be talking to Canice Nicholas of the Bundoran 10. Of course, it is a big sporting event that happens here in Bundoran at the start of March, and it is happening again next March. Registration is now open at bundoran10.com, and Canice will be talking to us about that, about the different aspects of the event, and the fact that there is now a 5k event on the Friday evening as well, so a couple of days long it is, and looking forward to that. So we'll chat to him in a few minutes time. Teresa O'Neill will also be joining us from Bundoran Community Centre in our community corner, and wishing us the best for the festive season. We are here with you with thanks to AIB.ie, supporting local businesses in Bundoran and Ballyshannon. We will start off as always with our entertainment guide, and of course things are going to be a little bit quiet this weekend. The Allingham reopens again next Wednesday. Elaine Boyle is playing there. Derek Ryan then in the ballroom Wednesday night. Robert Marzell in the ballroom Thursday night. Friday night it is music with Eamon Jackson, and ringing in 2023 Kieran Rosny and his band on New Year's Eve. White Lightning in the Bird's Nest on St. Stephen's night, and Chrissy Mack there for you on New Year's Eve. The annual Christmas quiz is on tonight at the Chase and Bull in Bundoran, hosted by Tiernan Brady, and that is for Osnam House and St. Vincent de Paul. Always a great night to see everybody who's back home for Christmas and to meet up, and no doubt a lot of people not having been home for the last couple of years as well due to various lockdowns and whatever, and of course this is the first quiz in a couple of years, since 2019 as well, so certainly looking forward to that at the Chase and Bull tonight from 9 o'clock. St. Stephen's night, they've got music with the Bangin' Yokes, and New Year's Eve it is music with True Tones. As an alternative to the quiz tonight, you've got Brian Sweeney and guests at George's Bar on Main Street with a little bit of a trad session and another welcome home to friends from home and abroad. And St. Stephen's night, it is music with Cian and Trudy O'Donnell, and they've got a live DJ on New Year's Eve as well. Dave Duke, speaking of live DJs, at St. Stephen's night at the Phoenix Tavern at East End, and they've got live music right across the week as well. DJ John Gibbons on Wednesday the 28th. Yes, it is Wednesday the 28th. Hard to keep track of the days over Christmas. And DJ John Gibbons going to be at Paris Nightclub on December the 28th. And then Madden's Bridge Bar, they've got live music on the 26th to the 29th from 8:30 until 12:30 at night. And then on New Year's Eve it is DJ Noel Phelan. So plenty of live music and plenty happening across the week, Christmas week here in Bundoran. Cinema is also going to be open as well. Avatar The Way of Water is the big movie that's out at the moment. It's in 3D and in 2D, and of course a bunch of Christmas movies out at this time of year as well. One classics that you may or may not have seen ever on the big screen, and now is your chance to do so. eclipsecinemas.com is the website, or you can check our own website discoverbundoran.com for the listings as well. We also want to remind you about the annual Christmas Day Dip. It is happening this Sunday, Christmas Day at 12:10pm at Main Beach in Bundoran, and that is when a lot of people strip down to their togs and run into the Atlantic. It's all a native charity, and it is again for St. Vincent de Paul and Osnam House, and it's always a big traditional event here in Bundoran, which we look forward to every year. And a lot of people go down. A lot of people, like myself, hands up included, will go down to watch it. I will be filming it, and we'll be posting that on our social media channels, so you can see it if you haven't got a chance to get there, or you can watch it live on our webcams, which we have a webcam of course down at Main Beach, and you can see that there by logging on to discoverbundoran.com/webcam. So that is giving you live uninterrupted views of Main Beach 24 hours a day, and we also have one at the Peak as well. But on Christmas Day, if you tune in around 12 o'clock, you'll see all these crazy people running towards the Atlantic, and don't think it's going to be very warm. We'll put it that way. But anyway, best of luck to everybody and fair play to you all for doing that. Don't forget, you can keep right up to date with what's happening over Christmas here in Bundoran by logging onto our website, discoverbundoran.com/Christmas. So that's discoverbundoran.com/Christmas. So details of events and music gigs and everything all on there. And also, if you are looking for the timetables as well for the Christmas buses from Bus Éireann and Bus Fida and Local Link as well, you find all of the information there on our website, discoverbundoran.com/Christmas. Still to come, we're going to be chatting to Canice Nicholas of the Bundoran 10, and we'll be chatting to Teresa O'Neill in Bundoran Community Centre in our Bundoran Community Corner. That's all on the way next here on the Bundoran Weekly. Stay with us.
The Bundoran Weekly.
I'm Shane Smyth, Bundoran Tourism Officer. It is Bundoran Weekly Podcast, episode 213 for this Friday, the 23rd of December 2022. It's our last regular podcast of the year, but it is not our last podcast because next Friday we are looking back over some of the highlights of 2022, and we'll be playing back some interviews that we've done across the year. We've brought you 48 episodes of the Bundoran Weekly Podcast, or we will have by the time the best of one goes out. We'll be chatting to Michael McLean of Anuna, Captain Barry Dolan of the Irish Defence Forces, Tibi Rotaru, who is a Vice President of the Duzelaj Town Twinning Network and is living and working in Siret in Romania, which is one of the largest border crossings from Ukraine. So they were heavily affected by the impact of the war there, and we'll hear from him about the humanitarian aid that they were offering to Ukrainians as they crossed the border and fleeing the war-torn country. Des Cosgrove of Cosgrove Super Value also going to be with us on our best of, and he has been talking to us about the massive expansion that they've had at Super Value in Bundoran as well, that they opened up this year. And Richard Fitzgerald, author. Richard, of course, you'll know as a big wave surfer, owner of Surf World surf shop there on Main Street, but also turned his hand to writing during lockdown, and this year came out with Cold Water Eden, which was his first and probably not his last book, and he joined us on the podcast as well. So that will be available at the usual time on a Friday, next Friday the 30th of December. So just as a way of kind of wrapping up the year, we put that together for you, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for that next Friday the 30th of December. Let us get back to this week, and we'll talk about an event that's coming up even further down the line, but it's on the first weekend in March 2023. This year saw the inaugural Bundoran 10 happening, and I spoke with Canice Nicholas, the organiser of the event, and he told us a little bit more. Canice, I suppose the first thing we can talk about is the success of the inaugural Bundoran 10 earlier this year. It's still not last year yet, even though it seems like such a long time ago now at this point.
Yeah, Shane, it does seem like a long time ago on that. The big thing with this year's event is how the weather was. You know, Bundoran was looking brilliant. Ideal conditions. I think it's been the best conditions of all. No wind in the bypass. Sunshine in March, glorious, and to see everybody in the sea afterwards for their cool down, it was great to see.
So hopefully, as we look forward to next year and the 3rd and 4th of March, we'll have the same sort of conditions again. So we're back again with the Bundoran 10, as I said, 3rd and 4th of March. But I'm saying the 3rd because there's a 5k run added to it for next year.
Yeah, we brought back the 5k again. Obviously, this year's event was post-COVID and that, so we were trying to keep it as simple for everybody involved. The 5k to me was always really special because you've seen all the children involved. They should have been in bed probably, or getting ready for bed, and we all remember our childhood and getting out and those things, but 600-700 kids on a Friday night in Bundoran, running around Rogie, it's a sight to be seen, and everybody in such good form. All the kids at the start line trying to be up at the front, all thinking they're in with a chance of winning, and trying to control them and control that enthusiasm. It's always really nice to see, and they're always in such good form.
I suppose we should say as well that it's not only for kids, but adults can take part in that as well. And no doubt a few of the senior athletes that will be running on the 10 mile on Saturday will be using it as a bit of a warm up. But I suppose it's mostly aimed towards the younger generation.
It's mostly aimed towards a bit of fun. Yes, there's no reason why the guys is partaking on Saturday can't come down early and get a good lift out and look forward to running down the hill. This year's route is actually the same finishing point as the Saturday's race, the 10 mile on Saturday, so it's the same finish point. Starting on Astoria Road, we do a lap of the Astoria and then heading round Rogie for KFC and back down to the finish line, the same spot. And so I think it's also nice for the younger ones to finish in the same spot as where the senior guys are finishing on the Saturday. It's always something for them to look forward to for the future.
So we move then on to the Saturday event and the usual two events happening there, the 10 mile walk and the 10 mile run. So the 10 mile walk going off at 10 o'clock on Saturday, the 4th of March, and the 10 mile run then at 11 o'clock. And there's already a huge amount of registrations so far.
Yeah, the highest amount that in a year that I've been involved in is straight to see. It shows you the appetite that's there for the event, the enjoyment that people have had from previous years. It's a starter for the start of the year, but I think what people miss is actually the social aspect of it. It's a weekend away in Bundoran. It's almost like, do we have to run 10 miles first of all for the party afterwards and a bit of fun afterwards? So a lot of people I be chatting to throughout the country, groups get together, share lifts, get minibuses down, and they make a day of it or make a weekend of it, like stay in Bundoran for the weekend. So it's straight to see that for the town is something that's very different for the town. But to get 1,000+ people on a Saturday in March in Bundoran is brilliant.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And the route, of course, the route hasn't changed in many years and won't be changing either for the next event.
Well, unless for circumstances beyond our control that something happens off the road and that, which we don't know. But yeah, it starts at the Allingham.
But for now, it's staying the same.
As far as I know, it's going to stay the same. So we started at Allingham. We'll have the warm-up again down just in the bottom of the car park, the bottom of the Astoria, and that nice and sheltered down there.
The West End car park.
West End car park, yeah. Head out then the West End towards Tullahan. The mile marks in around Maharacar, 2 mile marks at the petrol station in Tullahan. And then we head off to the right-hand side on the old Tullahan Road and come back into Maharacar on the old road. Down the short bypass and into the BMG roundabout and turn right at KFC, and sure, it's all flat from there on to the finish line.
That's it, yeah. Except for those hills, but anyway, it's generally flat, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm told. I read a post there on social media recently where they talk about, it's just around the corner a mile to go, and somebody goes, yeah, somebody told me that in the Bundoran town if I could find who it was. But still 5 miles to go, it's only around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to get people registering. A lot of people, as we said, have registered so far, but the registration is open and it is really easy to do, and it's bundoran10.com.
Bundoran10.com. The beauty of registering early is you're guaranteed your t-shirt size, you're guaranteed your number on the bib. We'll be posting everything out well in time for the event. So the quicker you register, the better. People, ask, is there no 10K? We only do the 10 mile because we realised it was getting too many people in coming onto the bypass, and from a safety reason, we just have a 10 mile. For people, saying, 10 miles very far, and that if you can do 10K, you can do 10 mile. It's never the distance, it's the pace. There's the 10 mile walk for people who want to walk and jog. Start off the walker, so you come in with the field and that, and the buzz with everybody around you. We have no issue with that. Everybody gets the same time or the same chip timing from the walk and the run. That they both correlate to whatever time you start at. But the most important thing for anybody thinking about doing it, I always say to them, don't worry about the training. The most important thing is to sign up. because once you're signed up, you're committed and you start your training. But you have to sign up first of all.
And it's a good, I hate using the word resolution, but I suppose it's a good goal, a New Year's goal, to even say, right, well, I'm gonna run the 10 miles, and to get out and get training now.
Yeah, come here. It's a great, it's healthy. The weather, there's plenty of places to get out running. It's free. Do you know what I mean? Anybody can go out and run in the fresh air. It's good for the mind. It's good for the body. There's loads of people that I know walked 1 year, got the whole buzz, and the people around you are fed off it, and they're now running marathons for fun and doing different bits and pieces. Where it started off with the walk and that. So you just have to get out and get into that routine and habit and sign up and just do it.
And one thing that I'll always say, I've done it twice now. I know it's been going on for a while, but I've only done it twice. But one of the worst looking places is the bypass, and people are like, "Oh my god!" But when you're out training on your own and you run, and it could be a wet evening or whatever, it's pretty horrible. But when you are running with maybe 20, 30, 40 other people, they just carry you along. You don't notice the bypass when you're in the midst of the whole lot of it, of all the people.
Yeah, and you'll be running with 200, 300 other people. It's not going to be 20 or 30. It's one of those iconic images. Whenever I be going down the bypass to make sure that things are okay and everybody's okay, and you see hundreds of people lined out in the bypass, it's just hard to believe. So yeah, there's always going to be somebody in front of you. There's always going to be somebody behind you. And the good thing is you're only ever competing against yourself, and the encouragement of other athletes around you and other runners and walkers around you makes the bypass pass very quickly.
Deadly. Listen, Canice, thanks for joining us. Bundoran10.com is where the information is and where you can register. And if you get registering soon, as we say, you'll be guaranteed your t-shirt size and everything all in advance. And we would encourage you to register as soon as possible. And enjoy the training, and we'll hope to see you in Bundoran in March.
Yeah, any questions, you can get us on the socials on Facebook, Instagram, on Bundoran 10. So look forward to seeing you all in March.
The Bundoran Weekly.
Thanks, Canice. Bundoran10.com will get you your registration, and you can do that anytime up to a couple of days before the event happens next March. But get in early because places will be limited on that. Now, for the final time this year, let's head to our community corner at Bundoran Community Centre. Here's Teresa.
Thanks, Shane. Today is our last day here in the centre for 2022. Next year will be full steam ahead with all our classes and courses such as the knitting group, Bible reflection, ETB classes, karate, lettercrafts, job club, Irish dancing, yoga, the parent and toddler group and Slimming World. Our services will be back such as Food Cloud, Seniors Alert and Befrienders Bundoran, as well as the co-work and the museum. We are back open on the 3rd of January, and from all here at the Bundoran Community Centre, staff and board, we would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Teresa, thanks very much. Happy Christmas to you and to yours, and we'll talk to you again in the new year. That is going to do it for our Bundoran Weekly podcast for this week, and indeed for this year, bar our best of, which we mentioned earlier on, and that is happening next Friday, the 30th of December. So hope that you'll join me for that, and then we are back as regular on Friday the 13th of January 2023. So all that remains for me to say is have a very happy Christmas. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your feedback, and for just saying that you listen to it. It really means the world to me. And we've had a lot of listeners across the year and indeed across the world as we're tracking the stats every week, so we can see where people are listening. And it really is, it's heartwarming to see the amount of dots that come up all over the world for people listening to the Bundoran Weekly, and really, really appreciate that. So from me to you, thank you. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you properly on the 13th of January. Good luck.
The Bundoran Weekly is a production of Discover Bundoran.
The Bundoran Weekly is brought to you by AIB, supporting local businesses in Bundoran. For more, see aib.ie.